it's concerto is that he looks at individual players of the orchestra in a kind of virtuosic way. And so it occurred to me that that might not be a bad thing to do here. And in addition to trying to look at winds, brass, and percussion in a kind of virtuosic way, it seemed important then to have this kind of placement where the winds are set up as a group, and so there's a kind of directionality to your sound that wouldn't be the case if the brass, for example, the brass sat behind you and the percussion behind the brass, etc., etc. So you have this kind of left-right, almost stereophonic quality of brass on one side, winds on the other, on the left, and then the percussion in front. Much of my music involves percussion, always has, and it really started when I was a young boy studying the guitar. And one of the things that I recall is when I practiced, I always put my ear to the soundboard. And I had a Gretsch, actually a Martin guitar from 1936 called the Dreadnought. It was a very large and wonderfully resonant instrument. It was given to me by my uncle. And I was about 8 years old, and I used to practice with my ear right on the soundboard. And all of a sudden you could hear these incredible resonances that you would never hear just playing it in the kind of normal way, because those resonances, while they affect the sound, they really dissipate so very quickly outside of the round hole of the instrument. And all of a sudden there was a whole new world of this acoustic instrument that I could not believe. And thereafter, then I always practiced the instrument that way and thought, what wonderful sound worlds inhabit this extraordinary instrument. And one of the things that came to me was that this really terrific percussion sounds that you can make on the instrument that are really quite common to guitarists, and that somehow were enhanced and resonated in a very special way. So that throughout my life, while I'm not a professional percussionist, I've always been interested in the articulateness of sound, which is of course what the guitar does. You can't sneak up on a sound with a guitar as you can in a clarinet or some other instrument, violin, for example. You can really sneak in on it. You can't do that on the guitar. So everything is very clearly articulated, and the guitar, there's nothing more wonderful than a large E major chord with all these open strings on the instrument, as the guitarists out there will tell you. And so it was that quality of sound, the way the instrument articulated, an instrument that I loved dearly throughout my whole life, that really influenced me, I think, in very fundamental ways about how music should go, okay? And it turns out that even if here I'm 72 years later, that is in my bone marrow in some ways, and therefore the articulate quality of the percussion manifests itself by this particular placement. I mean, it's a kind of long-winded way of saying that, you are who you are as a musician, and it can start very young. And one of the things, as all you know about musicians, unlike, brain surgeons, is that musicians often start very early. I started as a young man. Most of my students that I've had at Juilliard, Eastman, and Yale have all started right out of the womb, more or less, essentially, And it seems to me music requires that kind of commitment. It really requires that lifelong engagement. Doesn't mean that you're going to be a professional musician necessarily, but somehow it strikes something so intimate in your psyche that one must continue to nurture that, whether it be a subscriber in a symphony concert or someone that continues to learn to play the cello all their life. So what I'm telling you is this latest piece of mine really goes back to something very early in my life as a musician, and it's the way I always wanted to live my life, through the music. And what you have here is the latest representation of that. Okay, having said all that, and please excuse this long-winded fashion, a couple of things.